everywhere GBS.
Now, there's two issues: education from home, education from school. You cannot be a doctor who's not educated. You can't be a scientist who is not educated. We don't believe who we are. It's like we are being represented by somebody else.
Number one, education starts from home. I think who I am today has a lot to do with the education that I had when I was growing up.
Australian global education, they're bringing to Africa to help you.
We've learned what global education is and how we can apply global education.
Yo, never let it go. Yeah, you gotta fly high. So to what Jehovah. Never let it go. It's hard to reach. You gotta fly high. Nothing. First of all, salute to the Most High God, the gift, the Most High God, the giver, Redeemer, the Most High God. The reason that I'm is the Most High God. So namshukuru, namwabudu, ameniokoa kwa life ya udu. Nimetoka chini sasa inaelekea juu, nitashinda juu. Yesu ni Messiah, mimi go higher. So jua Jehova, siwezi ona haya. God ako nami, so siwezi kuaya. Twende, so jua Jehova, so jua Jehova. So jua Jehova, ha ha. Sorry Father, being a real bad boy. Yeah. Forgive me Father, being a real bad. Yeah. Come Father, being a real bad boy. Forgive me Father, being a real bad. Yeah. Calm down and lift me higher, 'cause I believe in Jesus the Messiah. Never let it go. Yeah, yeah. You gotta fly high. You gotta fly. Nothing can hold me. Yeah. Start to. Yeah, yeah. You gotta fly. Yo. Hapa. Yo manze imenifungua macho. Empty promises za devil nishazi cancel. Siko conformed na patterns za dunia. Niko transformed, mind yangu iko clear. Sota wa Jehova, mi siogopi nuclear. Word ya God ni powerful, na ndio nimeshikilia. In the name of Jesus, tashinda. In the name of Jesus, tatanipisha njia. And my salvation, whom shall I fear? Kweli, the Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Yeah. Sorry Father, being a real bad boy.
Amen, awesome,
Forgive
awesome.
Me, Father,
Let's clap for him, guys. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Wow, wow. Beautiful, wonderful to see you. I mean, clap for yourselves, guys. And of course, this show could not be a success without, the beautiful, wonderful live audience. Of course, we have a participation from MKU University. And of course, not forgetting, definitely, of course, looking at this particular beautiful set, we are represented from KCA University and, of course, Kenyatta University. So, clap for yourselves, guys. Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Awesome, 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 awesome. Now, just randomly, what is your expectation on the show today?
To be able to learn and to learn more about life.
To learn more about life. Clap for her. What about you, sir? What is your expectation on today's show?
Today I can say that I have a great expectation, being aware that I'm going to learn about global education, and I understand that global education is education that opens one's eyes and minds to the universal education of the world. So I know I'm going to achieve a lot that will be able to enable me change somebody else and the society at large. Thank you.
Awesome. Clap for him as well. I mean, at one point I thought ungeniambia global education ya majuu, so imekuja. So yes, it's nice. I mean, you've broken down for us. Awesome. Now, randomly, education. The moment you hear the word education, what quickly comes in your mind? Let me just start with you. roughly, education? What's your understanding of education?
Education, knowledge, understanding. Those are the words I can use to actually explain education.
All right, let's clap for him as well. What about you? What does education mean to you?
Okay, education to me is, acquiring what I don't know. Yeah.
All right, clap for her as well. Now, we always pass through a certain system. You know, we go to nursery, kindergarten, primary, high school, campus, colleges. But the kind of education we always acquire, do you usually think it's the ideal education that each and every day will be applied in our life? Let me just ask you.
In one or another, yes, it does help because you get to learn how to talk to another person. You get to understand yourself much better. You get to have self-control, so it really does help.
All right, awesome. Last question. We do biology, chemistry, physics, geography, history. How do we apply all this in our everyday life the moment we are out of our system? Have you ever applied that in your life?
Yes.
Yes. How? Yes, that's differently. I need to know how. Yeah, use your mic.
For now, I don't know how I can explain.
You don't know, but you apply it. Someone else. How this history, chemistry, how have you able, to apply that in your daily life now to be the person you are?
Yes, I ran geography, yes, in high school, and I have seen most of the time we are traveling. So how can I travel, let's say, to US, if I'm not using geography? It have maps, you have seen things about maps, then there I can use maps, and then I will be well directed. Yes, it is in the way.
Clap for him. Now, the feeling is kind of 50-50. To some, they apply it in their normal life. To others, they do not apply it in normal life, right? All right, but here today, we will be shed more light towards global education and, of course, how it is an eye-opener and how we can use it in our everyday life. Remember, this is Talk King. You can follow us at Twitter at Talk King TV Show, and, of course, like our page on Facebook, Talk King TV Show, and be part of this debate. Now, later on, I have goodies, of course, airtime that I'll be giving you. Keep the topic trending. Today, it's all about global education. What is your understanding about global education? What is your take on global education? So, without further ado, are you ready for our guest speaker of the day? Yes. Are you ready for him? Yes. He's not only just a man. You can never define him as a man, but the title he bears is this big. So it tells you a lot. It tells you volumes, the kind of volume he will impact in your life. So are you ready for him? Yes. Are you ready for him? Yes. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us all welcome Innocent. Pleasure meeting you, Innocent. So who is this Innocent?
Thank you. I'm Innocent by name, by birth. I'm African origin. I was born in Burundi. At the moment, I am Australian, and I will live in Australia the rest of my life, and I work in Australia. So Innocent you are talking to is the Innocent from Australia. I heard from a friend saying from Rwanda. My grandfather is from Burundi, but I don't interact much. But I wish to share because Africa is home. I'm not a foreigner in Africa.
Welcome. Feel safe, man. Embrace it, right? Yes. So the stage is all yours, Innocent. Take us away.
Thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon, all. It's a great privilege for me to stand in front of you. I heard you are from diverse universities. I won't mention all because I don't understand all the universities, but I heard from Kenyatta and the Mountain University and someone else from somewhere else. I wish we share this topic, which comes in my heart, in my mind, away from Australia. When I come to Africa, I was thinking, what should I share with Africans? What should I share with my brothers and sisters? What's the impact to Africa? I thought global education is something I can talk about. You may be thinking about as innocent background law, but he decided to talk about global education. He doesn't talk about law. Education is the key of everything. Whether you are a cleaner, in this society most of the time, we don't honor cleaners, plumbers, electricians, drivers. But when we look in our daily life, we rely on them. Education tells you to think somebody else. His mind also is thinking. Education is the key for us to be here. Without thinking about education, you cannot go to school. Without thinking about education, you cannot respect your parents. Now, there's two issues, two problems. Education from home, education from school. Majority of us were educated from school. And that education is very little, does not tell us enough. We are corrupt because we are educated. We are thieves because we are educated. We are liars because we are educated. We are conners because we are educated. That's education from school. You cannot send a long email to a person you know if you are not educated. Now think about, is it what we are supposed to be? We are educated from home because from our parents we learn to respect, we learn the culture. Think about like Kenyans, Maasai. They're educated from home. They respect their culture wherever they travel. That's education from home. A Maasai, wherever he travels, goes with his home education. He don't forget about his parents. He calls the culture. You are a man because you have personality. You are not educated because you don't have your personality. Personal from Australia. I live in Australia, let's say for my life. I work. I do set up my life there. But I was born in Africa. Australia will not make me who am I today. I have to contribute. I'm not a good person if I'm a consumer. That's the main issue for Africa. We do say all the time, we are poor. That's the image of Africa. If you go to Australia, if you go to Europe, if you go to America, if you go to Asia, if you go to China, they will tell you Africa is poor. And Africans ourselves, we contribute to say Africa is poor. With all resources, with high population, and we do say we are poor. And even we write books. Even we tell about humanities that we are born in Africa in a poor nations. You are poor when you start to think there's somebody else to help you. You can't help other people. Think about Bill Gates when he said, to be born poor is not a crime. But to die poor, it's a crime. Because you contribute. Yourself, you sleep. Yourself, you're a student at a university. And you go there, you sit there. Rather than studying, you start a relationship, having a girlfriend, boyfriend. Rather than thinking, you are sharing with your friends your relationship, how to break up. My friend hates me. Is it a story to talk at university? Education, it's when you start to think, using your mind. Why do I go to school? Do I go to school because the other people are going to school? Do I go to KU because my friend went to KU? Or you have something you are searching in the KU? Yourself, you can tell it in your minds, your parents, in your relatives, with your relatives, that you are educated from home. There was a story Europeans used to say, Africans, when they travel to Europe, they come back when they are naked. They come back with European culture. Most of our young ladies, they lose personality. They go to Europe, rather than presenting our culture where like African women, they come back with European culture. They are no longer Africans because they lose the personality. They are not educated. Now, education is when you start to think, am I patriotic? Am I in the right place? Am I thinking about the future? If you like Kenya, you can produce a lot. But if you hate Kenya, you'll be a consumer. And you are a consumer. Think about where you belong. Do you contribute to Kenyan economy? Kenya towards developed nations? Or you are contributing to say Kenya is a poor country? Kenya is rich, with 44 million, with all resources around, with university students, with different institutions. Kenya is a rich country. You don't realize until you go far, where there's no people. Australia, as a continent, we are about 23 million. My country, Melbourne, we are 4 million. Kenya is one country with 44 million. Australia, we are a continent with 23 million. You cannot compare Australian economy and the Kenyan economy. You will not be rich because you are going to America. You will not be rich because you are living in Europe. You will be rich when you start to work wherever you are. If you are not honest, the taxpayers will pay tax towards Kenyan economy and you will spend on your own activities. Then Africa is poor. To save. When do you take money to bank? So when you get your salary, you have to work hard. Someone may ask where the job come from. The jobs come from your mind. Self-employment. There's no one else going to give you a job. Yourself, you can give somebody else a job. There's those who can't talk, those who can't walk, those even who can't be able to eat, to feed themselves. We are here to help them. So you need to learn to save to the best interest of a Kenya government. Then Africa, Kenya is rich. Forget about there's white people, there are immigrants coming to build Africa. It's until ourselves. I wish my friends living in Australia, living in Europe, living in Asia, wherever, all from Africa, to come back home and build Africa. Physically, it's not needed. You can contribute wherever you are to build Africa. It's until we start to think that we are Africans It's home. And we are the one to build Africa through our minds. Because we are born, all of us, with knowledge. All of us. If you go to university, most of my lifetime at university I've been studying with white people. Some stage I've been in the university and I've been alone. Especially studying law, it's not going to be easy to find an African who will pay the school fees. Where they get visa from? Where they get accommodation from? But I realized by studying with white people, I learned about them, how they work hard. I do not care much what they do, but in terms of why white people, they work very hard and they are from rich families. Why Africans sleep too much, too long? To sleep at 7 and they wake up at 8 the following day, it's not normal. That's a sickness. You are not educated. You know about sleeping. If you are above 18, that's good 6 hours, it's enough. Then you wake up and do research. We wake up and start to think about your relatives. Some of you was born in a village. Grandfather, grandmother, relatives, they live in a village. You are in the town. You are an ambassador. You represent them in Nairobi city. Through your representation, you spend time thinking about Vision 2030. That's Africa. Some of you, you remember, before 2010, from Thika to town, or from town to Thika, how it was. Think about 2010, or before 2010, how it was from Thika to town. You could spend a good 4 hours, but today you spend less than 30 minutes. Minds, education. Some people did the research. If we can make good roads in this area, we can create opportunities around. That's the reason why universities now, it's very easy to access universities. It's very easy to go wherever you want to go. That's critical thinking in life. Read about Bombent in his book, Yet to Success. To succeed is to think about others. You start to think about your family. You start to think about your hometown. Don't think about America. Start first your own family at home. Start to think how you can change your family. Then your hometown. By doing that, you are building Kenya. By doing that, you are contributing to the humanity. That's education. There's someone else thinks, I'll be able to help my family if I go to Australia. I'll be able to help my family if I go to Europe. What is Australia? What is US? There are some people there who are not working very hard. You may be not lucky to meet someone who will offer you time to tell you their secrets, how they work hard. Maybe you meet a wrong person who ate too much KFC or McDonald's, who is overweight, and will tell you, I'm a PhD student. You can't be a PhD student who is not educated. You cannot be a doctor who is not educated. You can't be a scientist who is not educated. Education from home is very important. When you are a doctor, and when you understand how to treat your mom, your sister, your brother, that's education we want. It's not being a political scientist. Come home to your own village, start to tell them, you know these issues for this campaign is too bad, let's do this. It's not education. You are challenging people who are honest, who are serving to the best interest of the country. America will not make you rich. You can't fly to America. You're not going to be rich. You can fly to Australia. You're not going to be rich. You can fly to Europe. You're not going to be rich. You can fly to Asia. You're not going to be rich. It's when you fly to Australia with your mind, with a project in your mind. You are going to do more research and compare where you come from. Then you bring back home and you build Africa. When you see a tourist coming here wearing some clothes, it's always a project behind. They are not here to say anything. They are here to do research, but they can come here dancing. Education, I wish to share with you, was about all of us, we have the same minds. White people, they have blood, they breathe. White people, their minds and our minds is not different. What they can do, we can do better than them. And what I can do, you can do better than me. Thank you.
Wow. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I mean, one more time, let's give a hearty clap to our guest speaker. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only person that feels, you know, I've been challenged even more. The perception that I used to have about education. Now there is a paradigm shift, you know, on, education in class, education at home. Are we all in agreement to that? Good stuff, good stuff. Now, this particular juncture, we are going to the second phase of the show, whereby we invite panelists who will come, of course, and expound even more and concerning this particular topic of discussion, and that is global education. So are you ready for our panelists to hit the center stage? So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us welcome our panelists as they come to center stage. Awesome, awesome. Let me just throw it in. How vital and important is, the basic education from home, from your own point of view, of course, that molded you to become who you are?
Okay, I'll say you guys are lucky to be in a university. Just thank your parents, work hard. It pays. Because there are those people who don't go to school. That does not mean they're not educated. As Mr. Innocent said, they're like a Maasai, a warrior. Maybe he got a visa to America. He'll take his skills there and they'll appreciate it because it's something new that they have not seen. That is what we call education, an open window, something that nobody else has seen. Maybe you're studying medicine and there's no cure for rabies. Actually, it's not yet quite found, cure for rabies. If you find that, that's your brain, that's your education. And it will pay you for that. That's what I understand. It's getting that unique thing in your skill. That's it.
Awesome. Your own point of view, education from the basics. How key is it in shaping someone's life?
Number one, education starts from home. I think who I am today has a lot to do with the education that I had when I was growing up, between 0 to 5 years. Do you guys agree? Yeah, that shapes who you are. So education starts from 0 to wherever you are. Education doesn't start when you go to school. So what I'll tell you is every time, wherever you are, listen to what people are saying, do research, search. That's education. You don't necessarily have to be in a university to say that you're educated. In fact, just look at our country. Most of the guys at the government level, they didn't go to school. and they're in business and they're successful. What did they do? They used the education that they had from home and took it to the marketplace or whatever. So please, all the time, everywhere, you're educating yourself, focus. All right? That's
Awesome.
my opinion.
I don't know if you will agree with me, but most of the time we have this misconception that education in school will go a long way, right? We have that. Are we in agreement with that? Education in school will go a long way, right? All right. Innocent. Education in school, yes, it will go a long way. But can you, educate yourself outside school? Not necessarily, because yes, you get that education, but from the environment. Can you educate yourself from the environment? And of course, enrich yourself to something bigger and greater.
Of course. I don't compare education, which I give myself, to what I normally get from university. At university, I developed my skills, but I get skills from home. I got to study about environments at university, but I already know the forest. I'm aware about the forest and the snakes and different dangerous animals in the forest. I go to university to study about. So I'm already educated from home. Personal education is more important than the one we get from universities. How many doctors are affected by HIV? Why are they doctors? And the one who normally publish about you have to use condoms. They are not using it themselves. And they're educated from Harvard University, from Melbourne University, from Yale University. How many doctors, PhDs, have diabetes? Just because they're eating, they are not able to control their nutrition. They are not educated. So self-education is more important, and that's what we want. That's what we have. And we are born with that. An educated parent, before they get the pregnancy of a child, they think about, are we ready to have a baby? To have a baby is not an accident. It's a plan. If I found you on the street begging on the street with 10 children, you don't tell me I don't know how they come. I will not agree. I will disagree. Self-education. Thus you could talk about you and your relationship. So to me, personal education is more important than universities. Millionaire. 90% of they don't have PhDs. And the one building universities. Some of us went to private university only by someone who don't have a degree. Serious shareholders in Safaricom, do you think they are IT experts? They are not. The guys who know how to control their money, how to invest. They're educated. So self-education, that's what we want. And you are given from home. Thank you.
Awesome. So now you know education is not only found in class, but also outside, okay? Now, one critical thing that I picked from your talk, being honest to yourself. This is one of the most critical things most of us usually suffer from. Being honest to yourself. How important is being honest to yourself? How important is it? Because sometimes, okay, there is this feeling of, I don't know if you've come across it, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Have you ever come across that phrase?
Yes.
How important is being honest to yourself?
100%. Let me give you a short story somewhere. Also that thing people say, I know a guy who knows a guy. Mm-hmm. That guy, yeah? Yeah, I know a guy who discovered putting, is it a hazard? The signal on a motorbike jacket, life jacket. Actually, I know him. This guy, when I used to go to his place, he used to stick some stuff, like the stick-ons, the stuff like this one. And I used to stand there, I'm like, guy, unafanya nini? You know, because I never used to understand him. And I used to think he's crazy, but he used to tell me, I know what I'm doing. Each time I confronted him, he would tell me, I know what I'm doing. And after that, when they held the summit, I saw him, he presented, and they took him. Right now, as I'm speaking, he's doing great. Just because he searched for something that nobody else has. And I've mentioned that before. He got something that nobody else has found.
Let's clap for our panelists. Now, this particular juncture, we are going towards the last segmentation, and of course, it's question and answer. But before that, if you have your mobile phone, kindly check it out. Your mobile phones, were they? Yes, remove your mobile phones, if you have one. If you're on Twitter, go to Twitter. The hashtag is #TalkKing. Now, based on our topic of discussion, and that is global education, I want you to start tweeting what you feel has inspired you and what you feel has changed your life. Start tweeting right now. If you're on Facebook, go to our Facebook, like the page, send a comment. Remember, it's #TalkKing. Send a comment that you feel has really touched you or has inspired you in one way or the other. We have giveaways. I'm giving credit courtesy of Safaricom. So the more you tweet, the more retweets or the more likes people, like on your comment, I'll be giving you credit. I am giving credit worth 500 and 1,000. So I'll be randomly selecting the winners from our platform, and I'll be giving you credit worth 500 bob and 1,000 bob. So at this particular juncture, we are going straight to question and answer. So back at home, if you feel you have a burning question that you need to address, the SMS line is 21144. Feel free, send your question, and of course, we will get back to you. Now, to the lovely audience, first things first, who has a questions that we will direct, of course, to our panel? Yes, just raise up your hand. I will hand over you the mic. Start by your name, the course you're doing, where you're representing, and shoot your question. So who will go first?
I'd like to know, how can young people contribute actively in increasing the percentage of global education? Then number last, which factors can push any person to decrease the level of global education? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let's clap for him. I believe all the questions are redirected to Innocent.
Yes, my name is James. I'm a producer and an artist. I wanted at least you may define the thin line between honesty, because I find it like being a producer. Sometimes you get an upcoming artist who is not yet there. Yeah? So sometimes when he says he wants to record, you cannot just like chase him away. Like you don't have it, you have to give, you have to be like, if you be honest and tell that person like you don't have it, like you can't sing, you can't do that. Yeah. So, and it also in terms of business, because economically, if you are to grow economically, business actually doesn't deal with mostly with innocent, with honesty. Like if you buy something like for 500 shillings, you cannot sell it for 500 shillings, even if that consumer tells you you bought it for 500, you should sell me. You have to tell him like you bought it at a higher price. So that's the issue that I have. I wanted you to define that, yeah, about being honest.
Okay, let's clap for him. And I've always had an issue with most producers. For me personally, I know I can't sing. Now there's a day I checked myself in one of the studios. I won't mention the name. And I was like, I really want to sing. And he was like, okay, what can you do? So I went and did a number. And it's like, you are perfect, you can sing. And in reality, I could not sing. I mean, it's that crazy. All right, let's begin, Innocent, with, the difference between Kenya and Australia, the global education. How can you merge these two and do the comparison?
About global education, The reason we're talking about global, the planet today is a village, and it's supposed to be a village, and it's not. The fact that you think in Australia is better because they work hard. The fact there is comparison, the speed they're using is different. The difference between education in Australia and education in Africa, I found Africans are doing very well theoretically, but the practice, the really actual work. There's many engineers in Africa who said about construction, but then there's a bridge. They can't make it. But Australian global education, they are using in Australia, and they're bringing to Africa to help you. The difference is, for them, they can transform you using what they have. But you, as African, you are not offering very much to developed nations. In terms of humanity, you are there because of other humans. I think they covered that question.
All right, let's clap for Innocent for that. Now, let me throw this into you. The thin line between honesty. Thin line. Honest.
Yeah, I know. It has an issue somewhere. Because as the producer said, when someone is not good, you cannot tell them directly, you have to look away to like try and tell him you can. But to be honest, for me, in my field work, I'll tell you, honestly, you're not good, but we can do something about it. You know, when you tell someone the truth, they'll have a zeal, something they did not have before. They'll try to work hard to be like someone else because they've known the truth, they're not good enough, you know? But if you tell them, ukopoa, you're good, they'll stay there because they know they're okay. If you want to help someone, be honest. Even if you're selling something, as you gave an example, 500 shilling, then why are you selling? Go sit back at home and sleep. Selling means you make a profit. And to be honest to yourself, buy 500, sell it at 1,000. Is that true? If you want to do something, be honest. If that person comes tell you, like, sell it at me 500 because I know it's 500, well and good. Go buy it at 500. It's okay, you know? But for me, as I'm doing my calculation and stuff, I need another 500 on top. So if you're to take it, well and good. But if you're not, I think I'll go somewhere else. That's honesty. You don't have to be good. And another honesty line somewhere. Different cultures, diversity, give people different meaning. Where I was, to bend was wrong. To literally bend was wrong as a lady. So I could not understand how is bending wrong, you know? And I used to be honest, how I'm taught to work, I cannot work without bending, you know? So you have to show them how to learn to live with what you know, because that's you. Don't lie to be something else to improve somebody else's environment. Be yourself. In that, they'll have learned something new, and you will have learned something new. That's life, again.
Awesome. Let's clap for our panelists. And so, unfortunately, time is not on our side, and of course, we have to wind up this show. But before that, I'll just like, you know, representatives from KCA, Kenyatta University, as well as, who else? MKU. Yes, kindly just come to the stage and join me as you just, you know, just a vote of thanks and what you've gotten from this entire journey that we began. Kindly, let's clap for them as they come. Anyone?
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Tracy Munene. I'm a student at MKU. I'm doing linguistics and literature. This is my 4th year. What I'm going to say is that we have learned quite enough. We've learned what global education is and how we can apply global education. So it's up to us. It's either we go global or we stay at home. But don't forget that home is, okay, education at home is the best. We have the basis at home.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I always like to encourage my people here is that the best education ever is education from home. That's the first priority first. And witnessed, because I've experienced this so much, and it's taking me so far, though I'm still in university level. That's the best thing I can share.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. What I've learned from this talk today, many are times that we tend to think education is, first of all, we start thinking internationally. Then from today, I want to tell all of you, we are supposed to start thinking locally, nationally, then internationally. That's all, in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Awesome. I believe one thing is for a fact. The moment we are going to leave this particular place, all our mindsets will have been changed. And of course, the message that has come out of here will be amplified out there. Are we in agreement with that? Yes. Awesome. Now, back to you, the panelists, and of course, parting shots from you as we wind up the show.
I've been out there, and I was wishing I never went out there. I would have started here. Because as you said, you cannot start internationally. You have to start locally. I wish I never went anywhere, to start it here, so that I'll be able to hold whatever is out there.
Awesome.
For me, I'd like you to tell you to be honest with yourself. Understand now that you guys are at the university level. No one is waiting to employ you after this. So be real with yourself. Start thinking of things that you can do. As you go to school, don't think, I want to be the best so I can be employed. Think that you want to be a CEO, and when you graduate, you're going to start your own companies and create jobs for people. It's very important for you guys, because you're the ones who are going to create jobs for the next generation. Don't think as an employee, think as an employer. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So, are you creating job opportunities? Eh? You are? I mean, where is that diction? I need the oomph. Are you going to create job opportunities? Yes. That's what's up. Innocent.
For me, I just say it's a great privilege for me to speak, to share with you, because comparing where I come from, it's not nearby. To be in front of you, it's a privilege. So thank you. However, none above is above law. The big issue is there is a problem in Africa. There is no education in Africa because we don't respect our laws.
All right.
That's
Innocent.
the reality. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Innocent. And so this brings us to the end of the show. Remember the hashtag #TalkKing. And of course, you can tweet on what you've gotten from this. And of course, remember, I'm giving credit worth between 500 and 1,000 bob. Now, until next time, I've been your host, Brian Ogana. Let's do this same place, same time. Keep it TalkKing.
You know you can either fail or succeed. At the beginning, please have that mindset. It can either fail or succeed. So that when it fails, it's not a shock. It's a lesson for you.
The thing is, a lot of people think that hard work is fun. It's not, right? If you see me on a Saturday morning going to work, you think, this is not fun. But it actually is not fun. But because I really want it, and I want it so bad.
Ask yourself, what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities that I have to be able to pursue this idea?
I think the best thing to do, and this is what I did as well, is divide your life into different chunks of time, right?
Everywhere GBS.